matchup against the Shudderwock Shaman. He thinks the combo will be going off quicker for the Paladin than it will for the Shaman.
I suppose the Paladin maybe plays a more aggressive game as well. I remember that what we particularly liked about OTK Paladin decks that we saw right back towards the start of this year, before the Witchwood even came out, was that they attack the opponent on two fronts. They have both the aggressive, they have the board control, and also they have the combo that can kick in later on and just win the game.
Thijs getting rid of everything here. I would have to imagine looking for a card draw of his own in the form of what? You are going to have to excuse us. This is a deck that I don't believe either of us have played, because it is a very, very new addition that we've seen in Hearthstone at all.
So Loot Hoarders, Thalnos.
Well, I think that's Call to Arms, basically, is the main thing.
Call to Arms.
Yeah. Call to Arms is really what he's looking for. And outside of that, Tyler was saying they're looking for Call to Arms and they're looking for Death Knight. That's really what they want to get their combo rolling as quick as they possibly can.
Not Shrink Ray, then?
Probably not Shrink Ray.
No.
Yeah, turning your opponent's totems into 1/1s. Yeah, nicht so gut. But it's not an awful hand here for the Netherlands. They've got the ability to present a little bit of mid-game pressure with Sunkeeper Tarim. If they can stick a few minions, be it Hero Powers or Blood Mage Thalmoses, then they can start hitting their opponent for a good chunk of damage. But if that doesn't work, they've still got the card draw in Blood Mage Thalmos to get themselves through to Call to Arms.
It is pretty bad until, as you say, Call to Arms or the Death Knight hero card do get picked up. In the meantime, it's really just not that much that's going to happen. They can't tempo out Ancient Brewmaster, as they need that for the win condition. Stonehill Defender's okay, I guess.
Yeah, like you say, it's not great yet. But when they do find Call to Arms, I think we will be getting a swift reminder as to why Call to Arms was probably the best card in Hearthstone when it was at 4 mana. Maybe not quite, but way up there, I would argue. As it will be, if it gets 2 Loot Hoarders from the deck, effectively drawing 5 cards from the deck for 5 mana with the deck thinning and the card draw, which in a combo deck, oh my goodness, is that a good card.
It's funny how things can change over time, though, when you mention the best card in Hearthstone thing, because I think for a long time we'd have argued that the Druid Spellstone is one of the best cards in Hearthstone, as it's played in every Druid deck ever, until very recently when Ike removed it from Token Druid.
Well, I think I was just me that was saying that after I lost like 10 against 10 Druids in a row with Miracle Rogue, because they were just Spellstoning every single Hench Clan Thug I put on the board. But yeah, it's always a difficult debate as to what the best card in Hearthstone is, and one that new players are always anxious to argue right at the start is how good does it get in Hearthstone? What's the best card that you can see?
I don't remember which card won its Exile's Poll a while back.
I think it was just Dr. Boom.
Was it Dr. Boom?
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Boom, not new Dr. Boom.
Yes, not Mad Genius. It was, I think in the end it was Dr. Boom versus Tarim.
Sure.
The final 2 choices. Both of which are obviously completely insane.
There is Uther of the Ebon Blade. Now we're ready to go.
And this was a nice play as well by Thijs to go for the Pyromancer on turn 2. I didn't point it out at the time because we were having a little bit of a joke and a jape and a jest. But it did a great job of denying both of the powerful draw options for Loosefield. He obviously wanted to go Manatee Totem or Acolyte, but he couldn't because they would just be killed off. Only 1 card drawn from each, and he wants to get a little bit more greedy than that, I would imagine.
We did cast this deck just yesterday, and it was able to achieve the win condition. In fact, it was the only of the Netherlands decks that did get a win in yesterday's series, so they have to be feeling somewhat good about it.
I mean, it's clearly a half-decent deck that they're bringing it. I'm still completely unconvinced, not because I don't think it's good, but because I don't think I've actually seen it played once. It's so recent, so few people are playing it. I have like a rough idea of how the combo you're trying to make it work, because obviously you play the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, you bounce some of them back to your hand, and then as long as you have 1 in play, I believe, that is then a combo. If you have 1 in play and 1 in hand, then you can go play 1, Hero Power, Pixie, Hero Power. Which is a pretty difficult setup to actually achieve.
Unless the one you have in hand is the same as the one you have in play. And
yeah, it gets a little bit complicated. Because I didn't even know they had to be different horsemen.
Really?
I thought they might be functionally identical, but it does have to be all 4 different named horsemen.
Yeah.
which I'm glad I know because I would definitely have messed that up otherwise.
Looking at the Shadowbox Shaman's game plan for a moment, though, they've played a Saronite. They have a Life Drinker. Still a long way to go before they're going to be winning the game.
And it's not necessarily all too far off from Netherlands winning the game, because it is also important to remember, while every kind of Horseman Paladin deck has revolved around having an OTK combo, whether it be Beardo previously or the new Brewmaster and Pixie version, it's always revolved around having some kind of an OTK potential. It doesn't have to do that, though. You can just press that hero power every turn, and if the removal isn't there, you still just win. You don't need any of the other cards if you are ahead on board, because the Shaman only has so much removal.
It's one of the things that I think actually Lorinda has been talking about for the longest time when talking about OTK Paladin, is that people just forget that the 1/1 buff on the Paladin hero power and the fact that they have to be removed every single turn, that can be a lot for certain decks to deal with.
It can be really good, especially as Uther also represents just 15 damage straight to the dome. If a big board can be made through Sunkeeper Tarim, which with double Righteous Protector is not an outside possibility. It's not a ridiculous possibility at all.
And 20 healing against more aggressive decks.
Absolutely. It's a good Death Knight. I thought it would see more play. I was in the Trump SC train of thought on this one.
Pew! Sugar is a cool card.
It is a cool card. I did think it would be a little bit better than it was, but I was anticipating. I always think Control Paladin's going to make a big comeback because
Really?
I liked it so much back in the day, but it never really does.
The best shot Control Paladin has, I think, is certainly this version, like the OTK version, or anything that runs Uther and that second win condition.
Yeah. Late game win conditions are too strong in Hearthstone to rely on just traditional Control Paladin value anymore. Without N'Zoth and without anything can happen anymore, which, oh man, what a deck. What a deck. You need to rely on something else to get the job done. And so for both teams here, well, for the Netherlands in particular, actually, it has been clearly setting out what their game plan was in the early turns, which is draw cards, which they've done a little bit. They drew off the Thalnos, but also they are trying to deny draw from their opponent, which they have done tremendously well. They played the Pyromancer on 2 to deny the Acolyte of Pain or the Manatide Totem. They played Shrink Ray to make sure only one card could be drawn off the Acolyte. This is what they are trying to do until they get their win condition rolling, and they've done it very, very well.
Reporting for duty.
Mind if I roll knee?
I would imagine Netherlands are looking to hold back these Righteous Protectors because you want to be able to go for one big Sunkeeper Tarim turn, I would imagine. Because you are a little bit vulnerable to Lightning Storm if you start playing these out. But I guess one is like the middle of the road.
It's the half measure, isn't it? Now next turn, if Thijs wants to, he can play the other one and play Tarim. He gets at least the one extra 3/3 with Divine Shield. There is a solid chance that Loosefield doesn't bother clearing this. It's not exactly looking that threatening.
That's true, yeah. I guess this does a good job of making a decent board for Tarim whilst not appearing overly scary.
Yeah.
And also playing around MCT, which is another good point to not play the other Righteous Protector. I wouldn't have liked both, and I also wouldn't have minded none being played.
Right.
This, I think, is a fine middle-of-the-road play, but it does prove to be just scary enough. The alarm bells are ringing for Loosefield, and he wants to get rid of this board, lest he be thoroughly Tarimed.
So now Thijs finds himself one turn away from being able to coin out Uther of the Ebon Blade. He does have Quality Consecration, which isn't really that big a deal in this matchup. Maybe they have to play it to remove the Life Drinker and the Manatide Totem.
Yeah, they kind of want to save that, I think, for dealing with a board of Shadowbox, because that's often how you lose his control decks, is not only the infinite OTK combo of Shadowbox, but the fact that they just stick a big board.
Right.
Maybe they want it to deal with Grumble or a Keleseth board, because Keleseth has been played, so chain gangs are a bit scarier. I don't think this warrants a Consecrate quite yet. Wow.
Okay.
Stand corrected, though.
Well, I guess the downside of Hong Kong being able to maybe grumble back the Life Drinker, also drawing cards from the Manatide Totem proved too much for Thijs to risk. And also this again sets up a potential Hero Power Sunkeeper Tarim next turn. He'd prefer to play Uther of the Ebon Blade though, I think.
And this is very much in line with what Tyler was telling me that their strategy is in this game, is to deny card draw,
right,
which they've been doing as aggressively as humanly possible throughout this game.
What to do?
And I do completely defer to Thijs on all decisions made. He has played this deck a whole bunch. I have not. He is also Thijs, and I am not.
Are you?
No. You may think because of how successful and charismatic I am that I was.
I thought you looked a little bit like Kalento, and so
Right.
might be Thijs.
I already look enough like one half-stone personality. Let's not complicate things.
You do look a little bit like Kibler, actually.
There is little time.
Bit close to the bone there, mate.
Speak to me. I should reach you.
Loose field here, just throwing down minions. I was gonna say he's trying to play around Uther here by freezing face. That does not do that, though. That's not how that works. This is a play around True Silver, I guess, because, once again, after you play a Death Knight, you unfreeze your hero. It's a new hero being played. Or I guess maybe it's like they're already frozen, because they're like frozen Death Knights.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You can't freeze an ice cube.
It does work with Dr. Boom as well, though, so maybe that puts a...
That's true.
Puts a crack in the theory. It used to be the case that if you played a new hero, you would get to hit again with your weapon, if you'd already done so.
Oh, yeah.
Back when Jiraxxus was the only hero you could play. And Major Domo, I guess.
And once again, denying that card draw for Thijs, which has been pretty much every card draw available in the deck now. It's double Acolyte, one Manatide, one Farsight as well. So they've done a good job of denying it. But Hong Kong are still getting a little bit scarily close to their combo. They need, what, a Chain Gang and a Grumble now to get that truly rolling.
They have actually played one Chain Gang already.
Oh, they played one Chain Gang, right.
It is just the Grumble if they want to be able to achieve it with minimal chances. I was sort of expecting the coin hero last turn rather than the Sunkeeper Tower. That also would have prevented the card draw and set that up. But again, I guess Thijs just taking the chance to create a bit of a board here. It's going to have backfired.
I think this was probably his best shot at... Because if he goes big board on this turn and it's not dealt with, he can then go Uther to the face and start representing a little bit of damage. It couldn't really have worked out much worse than this, though, I don't think.
No.
Because now they don't have a board clear to this, and Thijs just has to try and mop this up with his weapon, I suppose.
Again, he does heal for 5 each time one gets played, and thanks to the 5 armor he'll get from Uther, he will be going up to 34 total health this turn.
However, he does have the ability to get a whole bunch of Death Knights bounced back to hand.
Yeah.
But the odds of those being all 4 different ones every time it's rolled is pretty unlikely, I would say, because we could see Hero Power Brewmaster, next turn Hero Power Brewmaster, next turn Hero Power Zola, or in whatever order you want, and then Hero Power all 3 of the Horsemen you gain back to hand on the following turn.
Yep. Well, it would be the Horseman played first and the Hero Power to guarantee that the last one
Yeah,
gets played.
good point. So the first 3 then would have to all be different.
Different, yeah, yeah.
Which is unlikely, obviously.
As just to clear that up for anyone that was wondering, the Hero Power will always generate one that's not currently on the board.
Yeah.
But if it's in your hand, then you can still get that.
Much like the Shaman Hero Power totems, pretty much identical.
There is little time.
I was going to say, I wonder if you're allowed to press the Hero Power totem when you already have 4 on the board as the Paladin. That is probably a stupid comment.
And now Loosefield just going to prevent Thijs from healing.
Yeah.
Whilst also having this board. I guess it's Call to Arms time. Well, as the second one gets picked up.
There's not much left in the deck, though. We've seen 1 Pyromancer, 2 Protectors, Thalnos. There's enough for 1 full suite of Call to Arms. I believe there's 3 minions left. So the second one will do nothing, I don't think.
That's fine, though, because there's the mana for Thijs to Hero Power and Solar still, which is the beginning of that strategy you were describing before. That's Thoros Trollsbane. Why are you frowning at me, Derek?
I just wonder if I'm being stupid. How did he get a Righteous Protector from Call to Arms? He's already played 2.
I wonder.
Oh, he did get a Righteous Protector earlier from Stonehill Defender.
Oh, from Stonehill. Right. Okay, sorry, my mistake. I was thoroughly confuzzled there. And that means, actually, with Crystal Smith Kangor and another Righteous Protector in there, there's enough for 2 more minions, I believe, to be summoned from the deck. I was just wondering if Psychic Scream or something had been played. Losing my mind.
He actually got... Oh, I was going to say something very stupid. I was going to say he got the same Horseman again, but no, it's just the same one for Solar still on the board.
So Hong Kong leaving himself very vulnerable to a Consecration here, which is why the options were either Healing Rain or Grumble everything back to that hand. And now, if any kind of a board is played whatsoever for Thijs, Shudderwock can come down to completely freeze that bad boy up. And with the Grumble being played, the combo is now available to Loosefield, and Thijs, with his hand in his hair, knows he is very possibly going to be dying in the next couple turns.
The combo isn't just available, but it's guaranteed if that Grumble isn't dealt with.
So now we want to see a Hero Power and I guess Brewmaster to find a Death Knight that is not Thoros Trollbane.
With the coin, actually, if he does that this turn, then he will have the mana to play Horseman from the hand, Pixie, Hero Power, Pixie, Hero Power. That costs 11 mana, I believe, unless I'm miscounting there. Yeah, it does.
That sounds about right.
So I think Thijs' only out to win this game now is Hero Power, get a different Horseman, play the Brewmaster, and then next turn draw the Pixie.
Or for the Shudderwock to fail.
But it can't if the Grumble survives.
That is true. Hand space, notwithstanding, he can't kill it off. He can sacrifice off his own loot his loot hoarder.
Oh, he's playing the coin now?
Okay, to protect himself with Giggling Inventor.
But now... What?
Yeah, I think I was actually preferring your line of play. He knows that Mind Control Tech is in hand as well.
Okay, well, there are now 10 cards in hand, but as soon as the Shudderwock gets played, it bounces back Grumble, and then Grumble can be played and bounce back the Shudderwock again.
We could even just see a 0 mana Healing Rain being thrown down here as well, just to clear the space from the hand. As, I imagine we will. The Zola has not been played for Hong Kong, so he doesn't need to worry about 9 mana Shudderwocks back in hand.
So just trying to get into the Netherlands headspace here, I guess this is the play, assuming that there's no Shudderwock. They've decided if there's a Shudderwock, we probably lose. Let's just play it as if it doesn't exist. The play I was describing was the only out if there is a Shudderwock.
Yeah, even then, Mind Control Tech is still in play. I guess they're just afraid of dying to Grumble stuff. But as we can see there, it almost going in the right order there for Loosefield, as the Brewmaster came back first in the wrong order with the Mind Control Tech, but there is still the ability to get a 1 mana Shudderwock back to hand, which means we could see probably some dumping of some... well, actually, you don't want to dump 1 mana guys because they get back to hand, but basically, there's 1 mana Shudderwocks, you're probably fine.
Well, if Thijs does deal with the Grumble this turn, and Shudderwock whiffs, the game's still up.
Well, Shudderwock, if the Grumble is just left up,
then Grumble gets bounced,
Grumble
and then Grumble can be played again, and then Shudderwock gets played again. It's still not lethal, though.
You don't have lethal, exactly. You need to play 10 Shudderwocks this turn as Loosefield to be able to win the game. He cannot kill off his own Grumble here. I imagine Thijs will not kill off this Grumble now. I think killing off Grumble here is just a mistake. Because if that happens, you can then just play Shudderwocks. You hope Shudderwock doesn't fail, and then you play it 10 times. I think if you leave Grumble up...
And if Thijs survives next turn, he's just got lethal.
He has just lethal, because he did roll 3 different hero powers 3 turns in a row. Assuming, though, that he has space on board.
Yeah.
I think he should be able to get there pretty much every time by sacrificing stuff into Shuttlewalk, so that's not really a concern.
Considering playing Pyromancer, maybe get a cheap spell and use that. No, that wouldn't work. All right, well, it all comes down to this turn. I guess Hong Kong could trade in the Grumble and then play Healing Rain, which would clear up hand space, but that still wouldn't allow for 10 Shuttlewalks to be played.
You don't have enough, and with another Life Drinker just being burned, you can't even just play 5 on the same turn for lethal. They do not have the ability to kill them on this turn. I think. Because even if it goes Saronite first, then Grumble.
Right, well, freezing these minions prevents Thijs from trading them in, meaning that he will not have the board space.
And he can then go Shuttlewalk to bounce them back to hand and then play them again. This is such a sick play.
It still does leave Loosefield with a very full hand, though.
Little time.
You can play one.
But then you can sacrifice off your own glacial shards.
Oh, the following turn? Yeah, sure.
And then not going back to hand. Yep, get rid of these now. Perfect. Even going for another freeze, I would imagine, on the Crystal Smith Kangor. This is such a smart play from Loosefield, man.
Thijs clearly agreed.
I did not think this would ever come up. Thijs has lethal, but he can't do it.
He's actually 2 mana short.
Wild Pyromancer Equality only leaves him with 6 mana.
Yeah, so he's 1 hero power short.
And if he does that, he possibly just dies, because then if Shuttlewalk goes in the right order, that's 30 damage.
Yeah, and
can't gain any armor. Unless he goes Call to Arms to summon the Beetle, then Equality, then Pyro Equality?
I think the Beetle's gone, though, isn't it?
I don't think so. If he goes Wild Pyromancer, Call to Arms, Equality...
He ends up on 33 health and 10 Shuttlewalks won't kill him.
Yeah. There's, in the deck, there's still 1 Pyromancer, I believe, so maybe that's... Oh, sorry, there's still 1 Loot Hoarder, so maybe that's a 50-50 to get the right minion there, because you don't have enough space on board.
He's doing it!
I think he's going for it.
Frostborn calls.
But if you don't play Pyromancer first, then you don't have enough room on board to play it.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no, there's only
Beetle
one
was the only card left. It's gonna
the
work.
only play left.
No way!
So sick. He spotted it. Oh my god. The board is cleared.
And Thijs ends up on 33 health. He has the board space to play the 4 Horsemen next turn.
Oh my god, this was so smart by both teams.
Loosefield has 30 damage available to him by playing 10 Shuttlewalks. But it's just not enough.
Even if this goes in the right order, by going for Chain Gang first, then the Grumble, this isn't enough damage to win the game.
Grumble goes off at least twice as well. So it's very likely to go off in the right order.
Yeah, point.
Then again. Okay.
Has Grumble actually been played twice, though?
I'm pretty sure it has.
Oh, yeah, there we go, yeah. So there we go. The Shuttlewalk is there. 30 damage is available on this turn. But it doesn't make any difference. At 3 health, I think Thijs has won this game.
Unbelievable. All because Loosefield's only played 1 Life Drinker.
Yep, the other one was burned.
If you'll remember, earlier on, Thijs played Equality Consecration on a board that had Life Drinker on, guaranteeing that Grumble wouldn't then bounce that back. Which, obviously, this wasn't the plan.
This was not the plan. This was nobody's plan ever. This was such a cool game. These were the... This is an example of not knowing matchups inside out and not knowing general Hearthstone principles. This was an example of having to know, as I believe the the combo might have failed anyway now because Shudderwock went in the wrong order. Oh no, maybe we're still all right. Anyway, the point is, this was an example of thinking on your feet. Very lateral thinking needed from both teams to exploit this scenario.
If Shudderwock did fail then, that would be awkward because then the Beetle play just wouldn't have mattered. But there you go, the 4 horsemen come down. Hong Kong really seeing a serious eye roll there. Oh man, what a game. What a game.
Thijs is actually just a god, isn't he?
Yeah.
How does he do it? And they said they were going to mount a comeback, and what better way to mount a comeback than upon the backs of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
Well, I'm very happy about that game for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, it's just one of the best games I think we've seen in the Hearthstone Global Games. That was so well played on both sides. A great spot by Thijs and by you for the Beetle equality play to allow Netherlands to survive. But now Netherlands have a foot in the door. They are not ready to get eliminated from the Hearthstone Global Games yet. Let's take a look at what's coming up next.